Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're about to trace one of the most breathtaking military campaigns in human history. And look, we're not just going to sit here and rattle off dates and drive facts. No way. We're stepping right into an epic historical novel, and we're going to watch the whole thing unfold directly on the bloody map of the ancient world. We're talking about the ultimate underdog story, a sweeping epic saga of raw ambition, brutal ice, and absolute tactical genius. It's the epic campaign of Hannibal from 218 to 202 BC. Let's get into it.
So here's a question that has literally obsessed military strategists for over 2 millennia. How exactly did one man, leading this kind of fractured coalition of soldiers and, oh yeah, a literal herd of elephants, manage to push Rome to the brink? I mean, Rome was the greatest, most hyper-organized superpower of the ancient world, and they were pushed to the absolute edge of total collapse. The stakes of the Second Punic War? Honestly, they could not have been higher. To really wrap our heads around this impossible feat, we need to rewind the clock, go right back to the starting line, and follow the footsteps of an absolute legend.
All right, before we start marching, let's quickly establish the ground rules for the map we're looking at. Whenever you see these ominous black and blue arrows sweeping across the terrain, those are Hannibal's Carthaginian forces. And those rigid, highly structured red arrows over there, those are the mighty Roman legions. So keep your eyes peeled on these colors as we go, because you're about to watch those black and blue arrows slice relentlessly right toward Rome's red defenses. The gathering storm in Iberia. Our journey officially kicks off with a massive gathering storm, one that the Roman Republic entirely and fatally underestimated. We start at Cartago Nova, which you'd know today as Cartagena in Spain. Hannibal's main goal right out of the gate was to consolidate Carthaginian dominance before launching this absolutely unprecedented invasion. And wow, the scale of this starting army is it's a behemoth. Look at this breakdown. 90,000 infantrymen, 12,000 highly skilled cavalry, and of course, the famous 37 legendary war elephants. It's a massive, sprawling expeditionary force preparing to literally march off the edge of the known world. But here's the thing about massive armies. Sheer size can actually be your downfall when you hit treacherous terrain. As our black and blue arrows move north to the border of Spain and France, they smash right into the Pyrenees Mountains. This was a brutally tough challenge, packed with hostile tribes and these unforgiving mountain passes. So Hannibal makes his first major tactical decision, and it's a smart one. He deliberately sheds weight. He dismisses a chunk of his Hispanic troops who, frankly, were just less motivated to be there. Basically, he traded pure numbers for agility and speed, carving out a hardened, super fast-moving force ready to take on the impossible. Moving right along to Part 2, Il Fiume e le Zattere, the first obstacles in Gaul. So as our cartographic arrows march rapidly through southern France, cutting right through the lands of the Volsci and the Celts, Hannibal makes this brilliant pivot to completely bypass the Roman consul Scipio, who had just landed at Massalia. But then, bam, Hannibal hits the massive Rhone River. Now let's walk through how this exact maneuver builds his legend. Step 1. He deploys a flanking detachment to brilliantly bypass these hostile tribes waiting on the opposite bank. Step 2. He actually orders the construction of these massive reinforced rafts specifically designed to carry his 37 giant war elephants across the deep rushing water. Think about the logistics of that. And step 3. He executes the crossing. This spot right here on the Rhone, that's the exact moment Rome finally realized the sheer, unadulterated terror heading their way. The danger was incredibly imminent. Part 3. L'Inferno di Ghiaccio, the frozen crucible of the Alps. The entire rhythm of our march shifts dramatically right here, as those black and blue arrows hit this towering, seemingly impenetrable frozen wall, the Alps. The 15-day timeline of this march is just visceral. On day 1, the grueling ascent begins into blinding snow and treacherous ice. And by day 7, the environment wasn't even the only enemy. The exhausted, freezing army faced brutal, relentless ambushes from hostile mountain tribes attacking them from the cliffs above. Finally, on day 15, after unimaginable suffering, Hannibal's forces miraculously emerged down into the Po Valley. Popping out here out of nowhere completely shattered Rome's defensive plans. But guys, there is sheer tragedy behind this incredible triumph. 50%. The Great Valerico, this epic crossing of the Alps, came with a truly horrific cost. Hannibal lost nearly half of his men, and many of those iconic war elephants, to the brutal ice and those relentless mountain ambushes. They arrived in Italy as a severely depleted force. It was a staggering, heartbreaking loss, which makes their survival and sudden arrival in the Po Valley an absolute terrifying miracle.
Real quick before we descend any further into Italy, let's ground ourselves. Our map actually bridges the ancient and modern worlds. So, Cartago Nova, that's the Cartagena we know today. Massalia is modern-day Marseille. Ariminum is Rimini. By keeping these dual names in your head, it really helps anchor this legendary, almost mythical march in the actual physical geography that we can still visit today.
Okay, part 4. La discesa in Italia, the Italian Blitz.
Having somehow survived that frozen crucible, Hannibal's army basically transforms into a fast-moving dagger aimed straight at the heart of the Roman Republic. The pace on our map accelerates hard here as Hannibal unleashes an absolute blitz of crushing defeats. First up, the Battle of Ticino in 218 BC. This was a fierce cavalry clash where the Roman consul Scipio, who, fun fact, is actually the father of the man who would eventually fight Hannibal years later, is severely wounded. Next is Trebbia in December of that same year. And this was a perfect ambush. Hannibal deliberately leaves the Romans starving and then lures their hungry, freezing legions across an icy river before slaughtering them. Then, in 217 BC, the Battle of Trasimeno. This is literally remembered as the greatest ambush of antiquity. Hannibal used the heavy morning fog to completely trap the Roman legions, crushing them mercilessly right against the shores of the lake.
Which brings us to part 5. Il capolavoro di Canne, the tactical masterpiece, 216 BC.
Now, let's slow down and focus entirely on the ultimate climax of this campaign, history's absolute strategic checkmate. Because the impossible odds of this battle are staggering. On one side, we have Carthage. They are a numerically vastly inferior, deeply exhausted expeditionary force that has marched all the way from Spain, fought through Gaul, and bled in the freezing Alps. On the other side, Rome. A massive, completely fresh, and utterly furious army of 80,000 highly trained legionaries determined to just wipe these invaders off the map once and for all. By all logical military metrics, the red arrows should have completely obliterated the blue and black arrows. But Hannibal executes a tactical encirclement. And this brilliant move perfectly illustrates exactly why Cannae is still studied in military academies to this day. Instead of meeting the Romans with brute force, Hannibal allows the center of his own line to intentionally, slowly collapse backward. And the massive Roman red arrows, they push eagerly right into this trap. Once they are pulled deep into the center, Hannibal's veteran cavalry and his elite flanks quickly swing around the sides and the rear. If you're watching this on our map, you would literally see the thin black and blue arrows completely swallow and close the trap around that massive red Roman force. The terrifying result of that encirclement really just comes down to a single horrifying number: 80,000. In one single afternoon, a numerically inferior army completely surrounded and annihilated 80,000 Roman soldiers. It brought Rome, the undisputed superpower of the world, to its absolute knees, hovering right on the very edge of total, irreversible collapse. We followed the black and blue arrows from the sunny coasts of Iberia, over the frozen, deadly peaks of the Alps, and straight into the bloody masterpiece of Cannae. Hannibal literally achieved the impossible. But I want to leave you staring at the map with this final provocative thought. After enduring a journey of ice and blood to execute the most perfect tactical masterpiece in ancient history, how did the red arrows of Rome possibly survive to fight another day? Thank you so much for exploring this epic journey with me in this explainer, and keep questioning the history laid out on the map.